Hello, and welcome to Sleepy Stories. You have found your way to a quiet corner of the internet, a place where color and history meet, not in bright flashes, but in gentle tones that calm the heart. Here, we wander slowly through the lives of artists. We listen to their stories the way one might listen to a lullaby, softly, patiently, without hurry. If you find comfort in these peaceful journeys, I invite you to like this video. And if you wish to return to more quiet reflections on art and imagination, you can subscribe. Each story is an invitation to rest, to reflect, and to find serenity in the brushstrokes of the past. Let the voice guide you like a brush gliding through water. Let your breath settle, your shoulders soften, and your mind open to the gentle rhythm of creativity. Tonight, we follow a different kind of dreamer. Not one who carved angels from stone, but one who painted the trembling poetry of the world. A man who saw fields in motion, skies swirling with emotion, and stars that seemed alive with their own heartbeat. Vincent van Gogh. Painter, wanderer, seeker of light. A soul who tried to capture not just how the world looked, but how it felt in moments of longing, tenderness, and quiet ache. He was born in the small Dutch village of Zundert, where the land stretched wide beneath pale northern skies, and where the seasons moved slowly across fields of wheat and wildflowers. Imagine him as a boy walking the countryside, absorbing the colors of earth and sky, without yet knowing that one day he would pour those colors onto canvas like a confession. Vincent's life was a drifting path, from art dealer to teacher, from preacher to wanderer, until he finally surrendered to the one calling that had always been waiting for him, to paint the world as only he could see it. He painted peasants with hands worn by honest labor, sunlit orchards bursting with spring, and night skies alive with swirling constellations. Every brushstroke carried a piece of his heart, every canvas an echo of his longing for connection, for understanding, for peace. But his journey was not gentle. Vincent wrestled with loneliness, with doubt, with an illness that cast long shadows across his brightest days. And yet even in his darkest hours he returned again and again to the easel, to color, to movement, to the quiet promise that beauty still lived in the world. Tonight, as his story unfolds, let your mind drift the way his brush once did. Loose, searching, tender. Feel your breath deepen. Let your body grow heavy and still. Let the quiet settle around you like evening light through a window pane. This is more than the tale of a troubled genius. It is a meditation on persistence, on empathy, and on the fragile courage it takes to share your inner world with others. Thank you for being here. Now, allow the noise of the day to fade as we begin the soft and starlit journey of Vincent van Gogh, the painter of restless skies and luminous souls. Vincent Willem van Gogh entered the world quietly on a soft spring day in March of 1853 in the small Dutch village of Zundert. The village rested near the Belgian border, surrounded by flat farmland, narrow paths, and skies that seemed to stretch endlessly in every direction. Here, the land did not rush. Seasons unfolded gradually, and daily life moved according to soil, weather, and tradition, rather than ambition or speed. Vincent was born into the parsonage, the son of a Protestant minister. The house was modest and orderly, shaped by routine, faith, and quiet responsibility. Sermons were prepared at the table, prayers spoken softly, and expectations held firmly but without drama. It was a home grounded in structure and moral seriousness, a place where emotions were meant to be guided rather than indulged. From early childhood, Vincent seemed different from other children. He was sensitive in a way that was not easily explained or accommodated. Sounds lingered in his awareness. Silences felt heavy with meaning. A simple change in weather or the movement of light across a wall could hold his attention for long stretches of time. He did not merely notice the world, he absorbed it, allowing each small impression to settle gently within him. As you listen now, allow your breathing to slow. Let each inhale arrive gently and each exhale release what no longer needs your attention. There is no need to go anywhere. You are simply walking alongside this story at an unhurried pace, letting the day loosen its grip. Vincent often wandered alone as a boy. He walked through fields edged with hedgerows, past rows of trees shaped by wind and years of growth, and along dirt paths softened by rain. He watched birds lift suddenly from tall grass and listened to their wings disappear into the open air. He noticed how clouds passed in slow, deliberate formations overhead, as though the sky itself were thinking quietly. These moments of wandering brought him a sense of calm he rarely found elsewhere. When life feels overwhelming, there is a similar comfort in simple observation. You might imagine yourself walking those same paths now, feeling the steadiness of the ground beneath your feet. With each step, your thoughts can grow quieter, your breathing more even, your body more at ease. School did not come easily to Vincent. Teachers found him withdrawn and difficult to engage. Other children sometimes found him distant, unsure how to reach him. Vincent struggled to express what he felt, and when words did come they arrived carefully, as though he were afraid of disturbing something fragile. His inner life was rich and complex, but it often remained unspoken. There had been another Vincent before him, a brother, stillborn, born exactly 1 year earlier and given the same name. Each Sunday, Vincent passed a gravestone in the churchyard bearing his own name and a date just 1 year before his birth. This quiet presence lingered in the background of his childhood, a reminder of loss that was never openly discussed, yet never fully absent. For a young child, such a presence could be confusing and heavy. It quietly suggested that life was uncertain, that even beginnings could be fragile. Over time, this awareness may have deepened Vincent's sensitivity, encouraging him to feel life more intensely, to hold each moment with care. Now let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. If your mind has been busy, allow it to rest here, just as Vincent rested in the open fields when words felt unnecessary. Vincent's mother encouraged drawing, and from time to time he sketched plants, animals, and simple scenes copied from nature. These early drawings were tentative and unpolished, yet they gave him something precious, a way to be present without having to explain himself. Pencil and paper allowed his thoughts to slow, his attention to narrow, and his breathing to fall into a gentle rhythm. Even now, focusing on a single quiet image can have the same effect. Imagine the feel of pencil against paper, the steady motion of hand and wrist, the calm repetition of line and shape. There is peace in doing one small thing slowly. Still, art was not yet a calling. It was one of many small refuges, along with walking, reading, and solitude, that helped Vincent make sense of a world that often felt too loud or too demanding. His father hoped he would follow a respectable path, perhaps into the church or another stable profession. Vincent himself wanted to belong, to be useful, to find a place where his sensitivity might be welcomed rather than corrected. At night, lying beneath the low ceiling of the parsonage, Vincent listened to the house settle. He heard the creak of wood cooling after the day's warmth, the distant call of birds, the wind brushing against the windows. These sounds formed a quiet rhythm, almost like a lullaby, guiding his thoughts into calmer waters. You might notice similar sounds around you now, the soft hum of your space, the distant hush of night. Let them blend into the background, offering reassurance rather than distraction. In these moments, Vincent's thoughts drifted far beyond Zundert, toward questions he could not yet name but felt deeply. What does it mean to live well? Why does beauty sometimes ache? Why does sorrow feel so close to wonder? These questions did not trouble him as much as they accompanied him quietly and persistently. Vincent's sensitivity was not celebrated in his youth. It often left him misunderstood, too intense for some, too quiet for others. Yet this same tenderness was already shaping the way he saw the world. He noticed worn shoes by the door, faces marked by years of labor, hands folded in prayer with a mixture of hope and fatigue. These details stayed with him, lingering long after the moment had passed. Life in Zundert was calm on the surface, but it carried undercurrents of restraint and expectation. Emotions were meant to be disciplined, doubts kept private. Vincent felt these boundaries keenly even as he tried to honor them. There was a growing sense within him that his inner life did not fit neatly into the structures around him. When expectations feel heavy, it can help to imagine setting them down, even briefly. Picture placing them beside the path, just as Vincent might have laid his coat in the grass while he rested. For now, there is nothing required of you. As the seasons turned, Vincent continued to wander the countryside. He felt most at ease outdoors, where nothing demanded explanation and everything seemed to exist simply as it was. Fields did not ask him to be different. Skies did not judge his silence. Nature offered acceptance without conditions, and in its presence his thoughts grew quieter. In these early years, Vincent did not yet know that he would become a painter. He did not imagine galleries, recognition, or legacy. What he knew was more immediate and more human. That looking closely at the world brought him a strange mixture of comfort and longing, and that turning away from it felt impossible. The seeds were already there, quietly taking root. Not seeds of success or mastery, but of deep seeing, empathy and patience. These qualities would one day shape his art, but for now they simply shaped the way he lived, breathed and moved through the world. As night settled over Zundert and the village grew still, Vincent carried both light and shadow within him, a child shaped by silence, faith and open skies. A sensitive soul standing at the beginning of a long, uncertain journey, unaware of where it would lead, yet already listening closely to the world around him. Allow yourself to remain there with him for a moment, in the quiet fields of his childhood, beneath a wide northern sky. Breathing slowly and deeply, letting the earliest shadows of Vincent van Gogh's life settle softly and peacefully into place. Vincent's early 20s brought him to new cities, new streets and new rhythms. He left the quiet fields of Zundert behind and moved into the bustling centres of The Hague, London and Paris, carrying his sense of wonder and sensitivity like a small lantern in his pocket. The air in these cities was different, filled with unfamiliar sounds, hurried footsteps, and the constant hum of commerce. For someone so attuned to subtlety, it could feel overwhelming. Yet it also offered a glimpse of the vastness of the world, the endless possibilities that lay beyond a familiar horizon. As you breathe in slowly and exhale gently, imagine walking beside him on these cobbled streets. Notice the smell of rain on stone, the muffled clatter of horse hooves, the distant murmur of voices carried by the wind. Allow your body to grow calm as your mind visualizes each detail. Each step with Vincent is measured, unhurried, even in the midst of city life. Let this rhythm settle over you like a soft cloak of evening. In The Hague, Vincent took up work as an art dealer, hoping to understand the world of painting from a professional perspective. Yet the work felt distant from the deep calling he carried in his heart. He moved between galleries, sat behind counters, and observed the interactions of people who seemed to him both fascinating and foreign. He noticed how some smiled with ease, while others carried an invisible weight much like his own, only hidden behind polite words. The young man was restless, longing for a life of meaning rather than routine. He sought to give, to help, to connect with the human soul in ways that went beyond commerce. At times he attempted to find this in relationships, offering affection that was not always returned. He carried his own loneliness quietly, a soft shadow beneath the daily tasks of work. Pause now and imagine this sense of longing not as tension, but as a gentle pull towards something larger. Let it wash over you and out again with each slow breath. It was during these years that Vincent began to recognize the profound importance of purpose. He realized that the structured path of career and stability could not satisfy the restless stirrings within him. He turned away from the predictable and stepped toward what felt essential. In doing so, he was learning to listen to himself deeply, to honor the quiet voice of intuition, and to trust that inner guidance even when the world seemed loud and confusing. During this time, he wrote letters to those close to him, carrying his thoughts across distance, across ink and paper. These letters reveal the intensity of his introspection, his careful attention to the feelings of others, and the urgency with which he sought connection. Imagine yourself writing or reading a quiet letter, your pen moving slowly across paper, each stroke deliberate, each word infused with care. Let the act of presence in this small motion bring ease to your body, a gentle steadiness to your heartbeat. Vincent's spiritual hunger deepened during these years. He often pondered the purpose of life, the nature of suffering, and the possibility of offering solace to others. He tried preaching for a time, seeking to comfort those in need, and even devoted himself to helping miners in the Borinage. He gave what he could, sometimes even at the cost of his own comfort, and through these acts of devotion he felt both fulfillment and exhaustion. This duality shaped him, reminding him of the fragility of well-being and the strength found in empathy. As you inhale slowly, imagine the soft rustle of fabric, the calm touch of caring hands, the quiet service of being present for another. Let your breath mirror the rhythm of giving and releasing, of offering attention and letting it go. This is a moment of reflection that belongs entirely to you, as it did to Vincent in those early years. Through city streets, rain-soaked gardens, and distant conversations, Vincent continued to wander inward. He felt the weight of unreturned affections and the pull of unanswered questions. Yet these experiences did not harden him. They softened him, teaching patience, resilience, and the subtle art of noticing the small gestures that define human life. He carried these lessons with him like carefully folded notes tucked into a pocket, revisiting them when the world felt too overwhelming or too sparse with meaning. Now, picture yourself sitting quietly, observing the movement of life around you with detached attention. Notice how each passerby, each flutter of a bird, each shifting cloud is both fleeting and eternal. Allow your awareness to expand gently, taking in details without judgment or expectation. In this way, you can feel a faint echo of Vincent's early lessons. That deep observation itself is a form of peace. Though he had yet to take up the brush fully, Vincent's eye for detail was already sharpening. He saw the world not merely as it appeared, but as it moved, breathed, and resonated with emotion. He began to notice color in new ways, how shadows could suggest weight, how light could soften the hardest lines of a face. Even the smallest objects seemed to speak to him, holding stories that waited to be shared. During these years, Vincent also began to write frequently, cataloguing his observations, his feelings, and the questions that had no immediate answers. His words were a mirror to his inner life, allowing him to process emotion, tension, and curiosity without interruption. As you breathe, consider the ways you can hold a mirror to your own thoughts, reflecting them gently without pressure, without need to act, simply noticing. Let your body sink further into calm with this awareness. Vincent's movements between cities, his small failures, his quiet joys, and his slow realizations all contributed to a deepening sense of purpose. He learned to distinguish the necessary from the trivial, the fleeting from the enduring. Each step, each misstep, each moment of quiet reflection shaped the person he was becoming. someone who would one day see the world with extraordinary intensity, whose eyes could capture not only what existed, but also what was felt beneath the surface. Pause for a moment. Let your thoughts settle into the rhythm of walking alongside him, moving gently between streets and countryside, between longing and reflection, between effort and ease. Imagine that each inhale brings clarity, and each exhale carries away strain. Feel how the body can soften when the mind drifts slowly, purposefully, without hurry. In these years of wandering, questioning, and subtle self-discovery, Vincent's sensitivity was both a gift and a companion. It guided him toward experiences that would later inform his work, the quiet gestures of human kindness, the beauty of everyday life, and the rich textures of the world that could easily be overlooked. His inner life became a garden of observation and feeling, cultivated slowly, with care, and often in solitude. And now, as your breathing remains steady, allow yourself to settle alongside Vincent at the edge of this cityscape. You are present in the quiet streets, the gentle drizzle of evening, the soft glow of gas lamps or fading sunlight. The world moves around you without urgency. Let your mind, like his, absorb what it can. Let your body rest. Let the calm extend to your shoulders, your chest, your hands, and your feet. Through moments of solitude and wandering, Vincent learned an essential lesson that a life lived with attention, even in uncertainty, can be quietly beautiful. That even when affection is unreturned or purpose seems unclear, the act of noticing, feeling, and being present is itself a form of care. Let this understanding settle in your mind now, a gentle reassurance, a soft rhythm to carry you forward. As the evening darkens and the streets grow still, Vincent's path of questions continues to stretch ahead, unhurried and open. You do not need to know the answers. You do not need to resolve anything. You are simply here, breathing with awareness, moving slowly through his world, and allowing the lessons of patience, empathy, and quiet reflection to settle within you. After turning away from his early career in the art world, Vincent followed a path that led him into the hearts of the people he hoped to help. He arrived in the Borinage, a coal mining region in Belgium, a place defined by hard labor, soot-stained streets, and the quiet endurance of those who worked beneath the earth. The miners lived in small, worn homes, their days measured by the shift of light and the exhaustion of work. For Vincent, who carried both sensitivity and idealism, this world was both overwhelming and deeply compelling. As you breathe slowly now, imagine yourself walking beside him on narrow, cobblestone streets. Feel the weight of the air, thick with coal dust and smoke, the uneven stones beneath your feet, the faint clatter of tools being stored at the end of a long day. Let your body relax into this imagined rhythm. With each inhale, draw in the richness of observation. With each exhale, release any tension you carry. Vincent sought to connect with the miners, not through judgment, not through distance, but through genuine presence. He offered what he could: comfort, companionship, and, when possible, small acts of material support. He gave away his own clothing, leaving himself exposed to the cold, in the hope that another might be warmer, safer, or simply more at ease. His devotion was total, tender, and sometimes reckless. In these acts, he discovered both the power and the cost of empathy. There is a lesson here for the mind and body alike. The act of giving, even quietly, carries a rhythm that mirrors breath itself. With each act, there is a movement outward, followed by a return inward. You can feel this now. Inhale, expanding into presence. Exhale, letting go of strain, letting your own energy settle in your chest and limbs. The Borinage was not kind to fragile spirits. Vincent, sensitive and idealistic, found the poverty, suffering, and endless labor both heartbreaking and inescapable. he often walked among the miners, witnessing their worn faces, their calloused hands, their quiet endurance. Each encounter was a lesson in human resilience, a reminder that suffering could be both personal and communal, and that even small gestures of care could ripple outward in ways unseen. Yet the work and his own overextension began to take its toll. Vincent's health faltered. Nights brought unrest, and days stretched endlessly. He wrestled with exhaustion, loneliness, and the persistent ache of wanting to do more than he could. You may notice how, even in witnessing these struggles, your own body can soften, your mind slowing, as you allow these stories to float past like clouds across a pale sky. Vincent's compassion was profound, but it came at the expense of himself. He became a mirror to the suffering around him, absorbing weight he could not always release. In this, there is an echo for anyone who has carried burdens too long. The reminder that it is okay to notice, to feel, and to then step back, to breathe, to let tension slip quietly away. Imagine the deep exhale of a body letting go, as Vincent might have wished for himself. During this time he began to see patterns in the small, often overlooked gestures of life. A miner's careful folding of a garment, a child's hesitant smile, a neighbor sharing bread with someone in need. These moments of understated grace were vivid to him. He noted them mentally, recording their essence for later reflection. In doing so, he was practicing the attentive observation that would later define his art, long before brush met canvas. Allow yourself to focus on such small gestures now. Perhaps it is a flicker of light on a wall, the soft sound of a breath, or the slow shifting of your own limbs as you settle more deeply into comfort. Notice how even the smallest details can anchor awareness, creating a quiet rhythm within your body, a gentle sense of presence. Vincent's time in the Borinage was, in many ways, a period of preparation. Though he did not yet paint the grand canvases that would define his legacy, he was learning the language of humanity, the textures of hands, the stories held in eyes, the way light and shadow could shape understanding without a single word being spoken. His empathy was sharpening into an ability to translate life into observation, a skill that would soon flow into color, line, and form. The work was not without despair. Vincent witnessed fatigue that seemed endless, need that could never be fully met, and the quiet suffering of those whose voices were seldom heard. Yet in this darkness he also discovered the potency of devotion, the subtle impact of presence, and the quiet power of witnessing life without trying to immediately fix or change it. You can allow this lesson to sink in now, letting the body soften as awareness expands gently without urgency. In the evenings, Vincent often retreated to solitude, finding rest wherever possible, a small room in a modest inn, a quiet spot by a flickering candle, or even a narrow bench at the edge of a square. He wrote letters, reflected, and allowed himself brief moments of observation and wonder. Even in hardship, he noticed the muted beauty of the world, the glow of a fading sun over a brick building, the shimmer of wind across a coal heap, the quiet movements of children playing in alleys. Imagine these moments now, as if you are standing quietly with him, watching the soft play of light across a scene, listening to the faint sigh of evening. Let your awareness move through these details, slowly, intentionally. With each inhale, expand into the scene. With each exhale, allow a wave of relaxation to sweep over your body. Through this period of intense devotion and personal trial, Vincent began to understand his own limitations, even as he stretched toward greater empathy. He learned that giving oneself fully to others could be both beautiful and exhausting, that compassion could illuminate the world while simultaneously revealing the fragility of the self. This awareness did not harden him, rather, it tempered him, shaping a sensitivity that was profound yet cautiously self-aware. Pause now and feel your body settling further. Notice the way your breath naturally follows a slow, steady rhythm, your shoulders softening, your chest rising and falling with gentle certainty. Just as Vincent allowed himself to rest briefly after long days of presence and care, allow yourself these moments of stillness now. By the end of his time in the Borinage, Vincent was transformed. He carried with him the lessons of human suffering, endurance, and small moments of grace. He had witnessed both despair and quiet beauty, and he had learned the weight of empathy. These experiences, heavy yet luminous, would later flow into his art, informing every brushstroke with a depth of feeling and a reverence for the human condition. As the evening deepens in this imagined landscape, picture Vincent walking slowly away from the cold streets, his eyes carrying the memory of lives observed and hearts touched. The flickering lamps, the distant sounds, the shadows of labouring hands, all settle into a gentle calm. You, too, can carry this calm, letting each detail float gently past without requiring response or action. In this quiet reflection, there is a subtle invitation to observe without judgment, to feel without being overwhelmed, and to allow each moment, however small, to leave a soft imprint on the heart. Just as Vincent learned to navigate both suffering and compassion, you may notice how a slow, attentive awareness brings both ease and depth. And now, as the soft light of evening stretches across this scene, let yourself rest fully. Let your attention drift gently over the images, the sounds, and the feelings that have unfolded. Let your body sink further into comfort, your mind soften, and your awareness settle. In the quiet presence of this story, there is a space for ease, reflection, and gentle rest, just as there was for Vincent among the miners, walking slowly and feeling deeply. After leaving the Borinage, Vincent returned to the Netherlands with a renewed, though quiet, sense of purpose. The streets of his youth, the fields of Zundert, and the villages he had wandered now felt both familiar and transformed by his recent experiences. He carried with him the weight of human suffering he had witnessed, but also a delicate, persistent hope that life could be captured, understood, and expressed in ways that transcended spoken language. As you breathe in slowly and exhale gently, imagine walking with Vincent along narrow village lanes. Feel the soft firmness of soil beneath your feet. Notice the gentle sway of grasses at the edges of fields, and hear the muted calls of birds in the distance. Let your body sink further into relaxation, letting each inhalation expand your chest, and each exhalation release any lingering tension. It was during this time that Vincent discovered the power of drawing. He began to sketch the people and places around him with growing confidence, focusing on the simple realities of life, the folded hands of a labourer, the worn shoes of a child, the quiet tilt of a roof in the fading light. Each line and contour was a meditation, an exercise in attentiveness and patience. These drawings were not yet masterpieces, but they were deeply intimate, capturing the world as he felt it, rather than merely as it appeared. Imagine holding a pencil in your hand now, tracing the contours of an imagined scene. Feel the gentle pressure of the tool, the slow, deliberate movement across a page, the quiet concentration that follows each stroke. Let this visualization mirror the rhythm of your own breath, inhaling slowly, exhaling fully, letting your body relax in tandem with your attention. Vincent's subjects during this period were often humble, yet he treated them with extraordinary care. Potato farmers, labourers, and other working people became his focus, their worn hands, weathered faces, and quiet dignity rendered with tenderness. He sought to capture not glamour or idealization, but truth, the beauty inherent in labour, the subtle poetry of routine and struggle. In doing so, he trained his eye to see deeply, noticing patterns of shadow and light, curves of muscle, and the small gestures that revealed character. As you imagine this scene, let your attention linger on small details, the texture of fabric, the curve of a hand, the shimmer of light across a surface. Let these observations be soft and quiet, like gentle waves, carrying your mind further into relaxation and awareness. Notice how even subtle attention can create a sense of presence, a calm rooted in noticing without needing to judge or fix. During these years, Vincent also explored color in rudimentary ways. Though his palette was still limited and muted, he began experimenting with tonal variations, noticing the warmth of ochre, the cool depth of a shadow, the way sunlight altered the surface of a wall or a field. He was learning the language of color slowly, methodically, allowing observation to guide him rather than force. Each experiment was a quiet revelation, a way of translating experience into form and feeling. Consider a patch of sunlight on a simple surface near you. Watch as it shifts subtly with time and movement. Let your mind attend to its warmth and hue, letting your senses engage gently, fully, without urgency. Feel how observation alone can bring calm, clarity, and a sense of groundedness. In this period of self-discovery, Vincent was also learning patience. The process of seeing and recording life, whether through drawing or color, required him to slow down, to linger, and to return repeatedly to the same scenes until the essence felt captured. This patience was a lesson in itself, that meaningful expression grows not from haste, but from repeated, mindful engagement. You can allow this lesson to touch your own mind now, letting each inhalation stretch your awareness, and each exhalation let go the need to hurry or resolve. Vincent's work during these years was intimate, reflective, and deeply connected to the rhythms of daily life. He observed the subtle expressions of family members, the quiet interactions in taverns and homes, the slow gestures of workers moving through their routines. Each detail was a story, each line of a drawing, a note in an unspoken symphony of human experience. As you breathe alongside this narrative, feel the same sense of attunement to the world around you. Notice sounds, textures, and rhythms in your environment, allowing them to deepen your sense of presence and relaxation. Even when alone, Vincent's mind remained active and contemplative. He studied prints, sketches, and books, searching for ways to articulate what he observed. He reflected on the connections between people, work, and the landscape. He thought often of the miners, the families, the laborers whose lives had left lasting impressions, and he allowed himself to notice, quietly, that the act of observation could itself be restorative, a source of comfort and purpose. Imagine for a moment a quiet room bathed in soft light. Perhaps you are holding a pencil, perhaps simply resting your hands in your lap. Notice the slow movement of air around you, the faint sounds that emerge without demand. Allow your mind to attend gently to these sensations, mirroring Vincent's practice of observing life carefully, fully, and with tender attention. Let this stillness seep into your shoulders, chest, and jaw, letting relaxation settle deeply. During these years, Vincent also experienced moments of social connection, brief friendships, and exchanges that nurtured his heart. Though often shy and reserved, he recognized the value of shared experience. He began to understand that observing life was not a solitary task alone, but one enriched by the presence of others. And yet, he balanced these connections with periods of solitude, understanding that introspection and reflection were equally essential for growth, for clarity, and for rest. Notice the balance in your own awareness now. There is space for both attention and release, engagement and stillness. Let your body sway gently with your breath, feeling the rhythm of life move softly through you. Like Vincent, allow your mind to witness and reflect without the need for judgment or action, finding comfort in the quiet unfolding of awareness. Vincent's early paintings were tentative, yet they were profound in their honesty. Works such as The Potato Eaters emerge from this period, capturing the dignity, struggle, and humanity of people often overlooked. In each composition, he sought to honor the essence of life as it appeared, acknowledging both hardship and quiet beauty. He painted not what he imagined the world should be, but what he perceived in moments of attentive observation. As you imagine these paintings, visualize the care with which each figure is rendered, the attention to light, shadow, and gesture. Let your mind move slowly through each detail, savoring the small, deliberate choices that bring the scene alive. With each inhalation, expand your awareness into these spaces. With each exhalation, let relaxation deepen, your body melting into comfort. During this time, Vincent also explored his own emotions, allowing the intensity of feeling to inform his work. His sensitivity, cultivated through years of observation, reflection, and human connection, became the lens through which he interpreted the world. Joy, sorrow, longing, and empathy were translated into lines, shapes, and color, forming a vocabulary unique to him. You may notice how your own awareness of feeling, subtle or pronounced, can be acknowledged in the same gentle, non-judgmental way. And now, as the light softens over the fields and villages of Vincent's life, imagine yourself walking with him once more. Observe the slow, deliberate gestures of daily life, the quiet beauty in the ordinary, and the patience inherent in attentive observation. Allow these reflections to settle into your own mind, letting the pace of breath and thought align with the rhythm of this narrative. Through these years of careful observation, experimentation, and reflection, Vincent's sense of purpose became clearer. He realized that his calling was to capture life as he saw and felt it, to translate human experience into form, color, and emotion. Though the road ahead was long, uncertain, and often challenging, he was taking the first deliberate steps toward the painter he would become, building not only skill, but also a profound empathy for the world around him. And now, as this moment drifts gently toward stillness, let yourself rest with the awareness that observation, reflection, and presence are themselves acts of care. Let your body grow heavy, your mind soft, your breath slow. You are here, witnessing life with quiet attention, allowing the gentle unfolding of awareness to soothe and calm, just as Vincent learned to do in the humble, luminous spaces of his early artistic journey. Vincent arrived in Paris with a mixture of anticipation and quiet trepidation. The city pulsed with energy and possibility, a place unlike the slow-moving villages and fields of his youth. Streets were lined with cafes, galleries, and studios. Artists, writers, and thinkers filled the sidewalks, their conversations spilling into the air in a constant hum of curiosity and ambition. For Vincent, who had spent much of his life observing quietly, this new world was both thrilling and disorienting, an invitation to expand his vision while testing the limits of his sensitivity. He spent hours wandering the streets, sketchbook in hand, absorbing the changing light, the architecture, and the faces of people moving through the city. Paris offered a kind of richness he had never known, colors that seemed sharper, shadows that fell in unexpected ways, reflections of life that danced across shop windows and cobblestones. Every street corner held a story, every passer-by a lesson in patience, resilience, and the subtle interplay of human emotion. The young impressionists were beginning to form their circles, and Vincent met several of them. Their approach to light, color, and spontaneous expression fascinated him. He studied their brushwork, their choice of subject, and the daring vibrancy that seemed to breathe from their canvases. Japanese prints, with their bold outlines and delicate compositions, revealed to him the ways in which simplicity could carry profound emotional resonance. Slowly, Vincent's palette began to awaken. Greens became alive with hums of energy, yellows glowed with soft warmth, and even the darkest shadows suggested life rather than absence. Walking along the Seine, he observed the reflection of the city on water, the subtle movement of boats, and the quiet rhythm of life passing without hurry. A gentle awareness of motion, of impermanence, began to settle into his vision. Life was not static. It was always shifting, always whispering, always offering new patterns of light and form for those willing to look closely. During this period, Vincent often lingered in cafes, watching people talk, gesturing and interacting. He noticed the interplay of light on their faces, the graceful arc of a hand reaching for a cup, the softened shadows under hats tilted against the sun. These small, everyday moments fascinated him. How ordinary gestures could reveal tenderness, fatigue, hope, or unspoken longing. In observing them, he cultivated an eye capable of translating the subtle poetry of life into visual form. Imagine standing in a quiet cafe yourself, the soft murmur of conversation around you, the gentle clink of cups, the warm glow of afternoon light. Each small detail can become a point of focus, a reminder of the quiet rhythms that shape our lives. Let the awareness of these tiny moments settle into your senses, anchoring attention without urgency or effort. Vincent's studio was modest, filled with canvases, brushes, and tubes of paint arranged in careful disorder. The work was painstaking at first, a slow process of discovery and experimentation. He explored color relationships, the ways in which complementary tones could vibrate together, and how light could reveal texture and depth. Each attempt was an act of meditation, a conversation with his own perception, a way to translate the quiet revelations of observation into visual language. In these hours, he also corresponded frequently with his brother Theo. Their letters formed a lifeline of encouragement, guidance, and companionship. Theo's support allowed Vincent to pursue his experimentation without the pressure of immediate recognition. The trust and care embedded in their exchanges provided a foundation of safety, much like a gentle current carrying a small boat through uncertain waters. Consider the relationships in your own life that provide this sense of steadiness. Reflect on the quiet ways support and understanding flow to you and from you. Let this awareness settle into your chest, a soft glow of reassurance and calm. Vincent began experimenting more boldly with subject matter as well. The streets, the cafes, and the parks of Paris became his playground. He painted trees, pedestrians, and urban landscapes, each infused with movement and subtle emotion. Even when depicting mundane details, he sought to capture the underlying vibrancy of life. The interplay of wind through leaves, the shifting light across a building, the quiet rhythm of daily labor. Each canvas became a meditation on observation, patience, and emotional resonance. During these years, Vincent's understanding of color deepened profoundly. He discovered that green could hum against yellow, that blue could suggest both calm and melancholy, that red could tremble with intensity when placed near its complement. Color became a language of feeling, an extension of his sensitivity and observation. The city itself seemed to pulse beneath his brush, alive with possibility and resonance. There were challenges, of course. The overwhelming energy of Paris could press upon him, and the constant comparison to other artists sometimes ignited self-doubt. Yet these pressures were tempered by periods of reflection, solitude, and gentle observation. He learned to balance immersion in the vibrancy of city life with the restorative power of quiet, mindful attention. You might notice a similar rhythm within yourself, alternating focus and release, engagement and rest, each supporting the other in subtle ways. Vincent also drew inspiration from Japanese prints, which introduced him to compositional clarity, bold outlines, and the quiet elegance of minimalism. The simplicity in these works allowed him to see how subtle changes in form could convey profound emotion. He began integrating these principles into his own work, exploring ways in which line, space, and tone could suggest movement, mood, and perspective. Imagine gazing at a single object, a tree, a cup, or a flower, noticing every contour, shadow, and hue. Allow the quiet observation to extend into your awareness, deepening relaxation, focus, and presence. This is the same process Vincent engaged in, slow, deliberate, and infinitely gentle in its attention. By the time he had spent a year or more in Paris, Vincent's style was shifting, becoming more confident and expressive. The lessons of observation, the discoveries of color, the influence of other artists, and the insights from Japanese prints had combined to create a visual language all his own. Each canvas became a laboratory of emotion, perception, and experimentation, carrying hints of what would later bloom fully in his southern landscapes. The sensory richness of Paris, light on water, the rustle of leaves in city squares, the reflection of sunset on building facades, seeped into Vincent's consciousness, heightening his awareness of subtle contrasts and textures. He began to understand that every scene, no matter how ordinary, contained layers of meaning and feeling waiting to be translated through paint. In quiet moments at the end of the day he would look over his canvases and letters, reflecting on the journey that had brought him here. The slow accumulation of knowledge, observation, and emotional experience formed the foundation for the work that would define him. Even in moments of fatigue or doubt, there was the quiet thrill of discovery, a reminder that patience, attentiveness, and openness could transform ordinary life into something extraordinary. Think of a place in your own life where observation brings you calm. Perhaps it is a quiet corner, a window, or a small patch of nature. Notice how allowing attention to linger there, without expectation or urgency, creates ease in body and mind. This is the same practice Vincent engaged in, turning ordinary perception into a source of insight, reflection, and emotional resonance. By the time Vincent left Paris, he was no longer merely a young man exploring color and form. He had begun to inhabit the role of an artist fully, understanding the ways in which his observations, emotions, and sensitivity could merge into a language that others might feel, if not always immediately see. He had learned to translate quiet observation into movement and vibrancy, stillness into rhythm, and everyday life into emotional truth. The years in Paris also planted seeds for the future, the desire for intense color, the attraction to sun-drenched landscapes, and the curiosity to explore human emotion and natural beauty in unguarded, authentic ways. These seeds would soon grow, leading him southward to a place where sunlight, color, and freedom would reshape his work entirely. Walking through the city in your imagination, notice the soft rhythm of steps on cobblestones, the distant shimmer of river water, the muted golden tones of late afternoon light. Let this awareness settle deeply, a gentle presence moving through your body. Notice how observation, patience, and attentiveness can calm the mind and invite a quiet, reflective clarity. The Parisian streets, cafes, and gardens are alive in Vincent's memory and in this story, but they also serve as a reminder that discovery often comes through patient attention, through noticing details others might overlook, and through allowing oneself to be moved by subtle beauty. Your mind, like his, can rest here, absorbing the layers of observation, reflection, and quiet emotion, letting them sink gently into consciousness. In the delicate balance of color, observation, and personal reflection, Vincent's vision was awakening. The city's vibrancy had broadened his perception, deepened his empathy, and refined his ability to see not only what was visible, but also what was felt beneath the surface. This awakening was slow, patient, and unforced, much like the natural rhythm of breath, the soft unfolding of a flower, or the gentle movement of light across a field. And in the quiet moments between observation, between sketching and reflection, between the hustle of Paris streets and the stillness of his thoughts, Vincent began to sense the possibilities that lay ahead. The world was vast, vibrant, and full of subtle truths, waiting for a brushstroke to bring them into gentle, living focus. Vincent traveled south, leaving the grey skies and crowded streets of Paris for the warmth and clarity of Provence. The air itself seemed different, carrying sunlight in every breath, infusing the landscape with a golden, almost tangible glow. Rolling fields stretched beneath wide, open skies, Olive trees twisted with ancient grace, and orchards swayed lightly in the breeze. For someone who had spent years observing the human condition in shadows and muted colors, this land offered a sense of expansiveness, of freedom that whispered possibilities into every corner of perception. He arrived in Arles with a dream, a vision of an artist's community, a studio alive with color, camaraderie, and shared inspiration. Though the dream was only beginning to take shape, the town itself became his first canvas. He walked slowly through sunlit streets, noting the play of light on ochre walls, the deep green of cypress trees, and the shimmering reflections of the sun on tiled roofs. Each detail was absorbed with care, each sensation a seed for future creation. Imagine yourself beside him, inhaling the warm, dry air scented faintly with lavender and earth. Feel the soft weight of the sun on your skin. Notice the gentle sway of grasses in the fields, the distant sound of water flowing in canals, and allow your body to relax with each observation. Let your chest expand on a slow inhale and soften on a long, deliberate exhale, as if you are breathing in both the landscape and its quiet tranquility. Vincent rented a small room in what would come to be known as the Yellow House, a space suffused with golden light that seemed to spill from every corner. He arranged his canvases, brushes, and paints with deliberate care, creating a sanctuary where observation and creation could meet. The studio became a place of meditation, a refuge where sunlight and color could be explored without restriction, where each brushstroke could be an experiment in movement, emotion, and form. The landscapes of Arles offered endless inspiration. Fields of wheat shimmered in the breeze, orchards gleamed with fruit and verdant leaves, and the skies above were alive with color, moving from gentle blues to radiant golds as the day progressed. He observed the subtle interaction of light with earth, the way shadows softened edges, and the way textures could carry emotion. Painting became a form of breathing, each stroke a quiet exhale, a gentle presence in the world. Imagine a single stalk of wheat swaying in the sun. Notice its curve, its texture, the way it bends and returns, how light dances along its edge. Let this attention ripple through your body, creating a sense of calm, ease, and stillness. Vincent practiced this level of observation continually, allowing the natural rhythms of life to inform the movement of his brush and the choices of his palette. During this period, Vincent painted with unprecedented intensity. Every morning he walked to fields and orchards, observing peasants at work, trees shaped by centuries of wind, and the subtle changes of light across hills and canals. Each observation became a note in his visual symphony, each scene a meditation on life, endurance, and beauty. The act of painting was, for him, both a response to the world and a way of ordering his own inner turbulence. He also experimented boldly with color. Vibrant yellows, deep greens, and intense blues began to dominate his canvases, conveying warmth, energy, and emotion in ways that mere lines could not. The sun itself seemed to pulse beneath his brush, the fields vibrated with life, and the sky was never simply empty but alive with motion, feeling, and possibility. Color became a language, a form of breathing, a way to translate perception into the language of sensation and spirit. Picture a grove of olive trees in your mind. See the twisted trunks, the silver-green leaves, and the way the sunlight scatters through the branches. Let the colors saturate your awareness without effort, letting each observation relax your mind and body. Imagine inhaling the sunlight, exhaling tension, and feeling the rhythm of nature echo softly in your chest. Vincent's studio in the Yellow House was also a place of anticipation. He invited other artists, including Paul Gauguin, to visit and share ideas. The hope was a collaborative community where creativity could flourish, but interactions were sometimes tense as differences in temperament and vision surfaced. Even in conflict, however, Vincent's sensitivity allowed him to notice nuance, subtle shifts in mood, and the unspoken emotions that often carried more weight than words. This awareness, though occasionally exhausting, deepened his empathy and sharpened his artistic perception. Consider your own awareness of subtle moods in a room, the soft shifts of energy around you, and the quiet power of noticing without judgment. Allow your body to soften into these observations, feeling calm and steady with each breath. The world can be noticed and felt fully without needing to change it, much as Vincent learned in these interactions. The yellow house itself became a subject of fascination. Rooms glowed with sunlight, walls seemed to vibrate with color, and even mundane objects took on life beneath his gaze. Chairs, tables, and everyday utensils were painted with care, revealing beauty in the ordinary. This attentiveness, applied both to people and objects, was central to Vincent's evolving vision. A reminder that everything around us holds potential for reflection, meditation, and calm. As you imagine the room, notice how sunlight falls across surfaces, how shadows bend and soften, how the smallest detail can capture your attention without demanding anything in return. Let your senses expand gently, absorbing the texture, warmth, and quiet rhythm of observation. In Arles, Vincent also cultivated a deep connection to the land itself. He wandered through fields, following paths that led to canals, orchards, and villages. He noticed the tremble of wheat in the wind, the play of clouds across the sky, the way sunlight struck the earth at different angles throughout the day. Every walk was an opportunity to practice patience, attentiveness, and reflection. A way to align inner perception with the external world. Imagine yourself on a sunlit path, feeling the gentle sway of grasses, the warmth of the sun, and the cool brush of wind on your skin. Each step can carry the rhythm of your breath, a gentle meditation on presence and awareness. Notice the interplay of light, shadow, and movement in the scene, allowing your mind to absorb detail while your body releases tension. The paintings from this period, including sun-drenched fields, orchards, and quiet streets, were alive with motion and sensation. He rendered ordinary scenes with extraordinary sensitivity, capturing not only what he saw, but what he felt. The brightness of color mirrored the warmth he experienced, while each line and stroke echoed his attentiveness and empathy. His work was simultaneously an expression of joy, observation, and a soft contemplative meditation. Evenings in Arles offered their own quiet beauty. The sun would fade slowly, leaving golden and pink light spilling across the town and fields. Shadows lengthened, and the day's motion slowed. Vincent often lingered at windows or in courtyards, observing these transitions with calm attention. The rhythm of day into night became a subtle lesson in presence, in noticing change, and in embracing the gentle impermanence of life. Visualize a sun setting over the fields. Let the warm light fill your mind. The soft shadows stretch across your awareness, and the quiet stillness settle into your body. Notice how this transition carries a natural calm, an effortless invitation to slow, to rest, and to absorb the subtle beauty of the moment. During this period, Vincent also began thinking more seriously about the role of community in art. His dream of an artist colony, though fragile and sometimes challenged by personality clashes, reflected his belief that collaboration, dialogue, and shared observation could enhance the act of creation. Even when the dream was not fully realized, the hope and intention behind it added depth to his practice, reminding him that art could exist both in solitude and in gentle communion. Pause briefly and reflect on your own interactions. The quiet support, shared ideas, and subtle connections that enrich life. Let this awareness settle warmly in your chest, a soft reminder that engagement with others can be grounding, restorative, and even inspiring. Through months of observation, experimentation, and intense immersion in light and color, Vincent's work matured significantly. The fields, the orchards, the streets of Arles, and the rooms of the Yellow House were no longer mere settings. They became extensions of perception, emotion, and insight. Each canvas captured movement, energy, and feeling, translating the rhythms of life into a language that invited others to see and sense in his way. Imagine a single painting from this period, a field glowing with sunlight, a sky vibrating with color, a quiet figure walking among the trees. Let your mind move gently across the image, noticing the interplay of color, shadow, and light. Feel the slow, deliberate rhythm of your own breath as it mirrors the unfolding motion, bringing a sense of ease, calm, and presence. Vincent's time in Arles was transformative. It marked the flowering of a vision, the expansion of his palette, and the cultivation of a rhythm of creation rooted in observation, empathy, and sunlight. The yellow house, the fields, and the orchards became both classroom and sanctuary, teaching lessons about light, color, and the quiet power of attentiveness. This period laid the foundation for some of his most iconic work, a fusion of emotion, perception, and life itself. As the day fades and evening stretches over this imagined landscape, allow your awareness to drift over sunlit fields, olive trees, and quiet streets. Feel the warmth, notice the colors, and let your body soften with each breath. The world, like Vincent's vision, is alive with subtle motion, waiting to be noticed, absorbed, and reflected upon. Let the calm extend through your limbs, chest, and head, grounding you in presence, attention, and gentle awareness. The studio of Sunlight in Arles was more than a physical space. It was an invitation to see, to feel, and to breathe with life. Every brushstroke was a meditation, every observation a moment of stillness, and every canvas a reflection of the tender, intricate rhythms that shape both the outer world and the inner self. The arrival of Paul Gauguin in Arles marked a turning point in Vincent's life and work, a collision of vision, temperament, and ambition. Vincent had long dreamed of a community of artists, a space where ideas could flow freely, where color and emotion could mingle, and where creation could feel both collaborative and alive. Gauguin's presence promised a spark, a dialogue, and the potential for new directions. Yet it also brought tension, intensity, and challenges that would test Vincent's sensitivity in ways he had not anticipated. Imagine walking through the sunlit streets of Arles together, Vincent and his new companion, their conversation a mix of ideas, plans, and the gentle hum of curiosity. The city is warm around them, the sky vast and radiant, the soft breeze carrying the scent of earth, flowers, and distant canals. Feel the steady rhythm of your own breath as it echoes the quiet motion of life unfolding around you, the sense of anticipation mingling with calm observation. Gauguin arrived with confidence, energy, and a vision that sometimes clashed with Vincent's own. Their days were filled with discussion, debate, and experimentation. Ideas about color, form, and subject matter flowed between them, sometimes sparking inspiration, other times tension. Vincent, sensitive to nuance and emotion, experienced both exhilaration and strain. He noticed subtle shifts in mood, slight changes in tone, and the unspoken currents of feeling that ran beneath every conversation. Notice the subtle rhythms of your own awareness now, the way you can sense shifts in energy, expression, and tone without rushing or reacting. Let each inhalation expand attention gently, each exhalation release the need to control or intervene. There is calm in observation, ease in presence, and clarity in gentle awareness. The yellow house became a theatre of ideas, where colors, brushes, and canvases intertwined with the vibrancy and volatility of human interaction. Vincent worked feverishly, trying to capture light, energy, and emotion in every stroke, while also navigating the intensity of living and creating alongside another strong personality. The dynamic was electric, conversations sparked new visions, arguments revealed passions, and moments of quiet reflection allowed each artist to return to his own work with renewed focus. Consider a space where creativity flows, full of color, light, and energy. Imagine yourself moving through it slowly, absorbing the atmosphere without judgment, feeling the gentle pulse of possibility in the air. Each observation is a meditation, each inhalation a way to open fully to the present moment, each exhalation a release of tension and expectation. As days passed, the friendship and collaboration deepened, but so did the challenges. Vincent's temperament, already sensitive and intense, sometimes collided with Gauguin's forceful personality. Small disagreements could escalate, and the emotional weight of their interactions pressed upon him. Yet even in conflict, Vincent's awareness of subtle detail, human behavior, and emotional resonance informed both his work and his inner reflection. He observed, recorded, and translated these experiences into the language of color, line, and movement. Imagine observing an interaction quietly, noticing gestures, expressions, and subtleties without the need to intervene. Allow this active observation to calm your mind, to soften your muscles, and to anchor your awareness in gentle attention. There is a rhythm here, a flow between witnessing and releasing, between noticing and allowing, that mirrors the quiet pulse of breath and thought. The days leading to the infamous winter night were filled with intensity and strain. The yellow house, once a sanctuary, sometimes became a pressure cooker of emotion. Vincent painted furiously, trying to channel his feelings into landscapes, still lifes, and portraits. Each brushstroke carried layers of passion, uncertainty, and longing. The wheat fields outside seemed to ripple beneath his gaze. The skies above shimmered with emotion, and even the walls of his studio seemed to pulse with the tension and energy of creation. Visualize a canvas before you, alive with movement and color. Notice the depth, the subtle shifts, the way light and shadow convey feeling. Let this imagery guide your own awareness, softening the tension in your body, expanding your perception, and allowing a sense of calm curiosity to settle in your mind. On that night, the emotional pressure reached a breaking point. Vincent, overwhelmed by inner turmoil and the intensity of his relationships, made a drastic choice, severing part of his own ear. The act was shocking, both to those around him and to himself. Yet it reflected the extreme sensitivity and depth of feeling that had always defined him. It was a moment where emotional intensity, creative passion, and personal struggle intersected in a visceral, almost unimaginable way. Allow yourself to acknowledge the weight of such intensity without fear or judgment. Notice the rhythm of your own breath, steady and calm, absorbing tension and releasing it. Just as Vincent's sensitivity could be overwhelming, your own awareness can be held gently, safely, without pressure, without urgency. The morning after, Vincent remained in a fragile state, yet he continued to engage with life, with art, and with observation. The people around him, concerned and compassionate, offered care, and Vincent began to realize the value of support, attention, and rest. He returned to painting, gradually translating the turbulence into color, texture, and composition. Even the deepest crises became material for expression, teaching him the ways in which struggle, empathy, and awareness could inform his work without consuming him entirely. Reflect on your own capacity to notice intensity and emotion without being overwhelmed. Consider the ways in which gentle observation, steady attention, and mindful awareness can transform difficulty into insight, chaos into calm, and experience into reflection. Inhale steadily, exhale fully, and allow your body and mind to settle. During this period, Vincent's work began to take on new dimensions. The colors became brighter, more expressive, more alive. Fields rippled with energy, skies swirled with intensity, and figures were imbued with emotional resonance. Even in moments of tension or despair, his paintings suggested movement, vitality, and a quiet affirmation of life. The act of creating became both a refuge and a channel, a way to translate the intensity of inner experience into something tangible, something that could be observed, shared, and felt. Imagine a field swaying gently under the sun, the sky above vibrant with shifting clouds, each movement mirrored by soft rhythms within your own body. Let this imagery guide your awareness, letting tension dissolve, curiosity expand, and calm deepen. Observe without expectation, absorb without urgency, and rest in the quiet presence of experience. Gauguin and Vincent continued to collaborate for some time, learning from one another even amidst friction. The intensity of their interactions revealed both the power of shared vision and the fragility of emotional balance. Vincent's sensitivity, once a source of struggle, became an instrument of depth and empathy in his work. He learned to channel passion and feeling into brushstrokes, letting the energy of relationship inform but not overwhelm the art. Consider relationships in your own life, noticing the subtle ways people influence perception, mood, and creativity. Recognize how careful attention, observation, and reflection can transform engagement into insight, stress into awareness, and intensity into clarity. Let each inhalation expand presence, each exhalation release tension. The winter months in Arles, though difficult, were also a period of immense productivity. Vincent painted with focus, immersing himself in the fields, gardens, and skies of southern France. He explored the interplay of light and shadow, texture and color, movement and stillness. His work was alive, vibrant, and deeply attuned to both the outer world and his inner state. Even in moments of emotional turbulence, the act of painting provided a grounding, meditative rhythm. Visualize the rhythm of painting. Brush meeting canvas, color blending with care, lines flowing gently into form. Allow your own awareness to mirror this rhythm, inhaling slowly, exhaling fully. Feeling your body and mind align with the calm, deliberate motion of creation. By the end of this period, Vincent had come to understand that intensity and sensitivity, when paired with reflection and observation, could become a source of creative power rather than only struggle. The lessons of companionship, tension, and emotional depth in Arles shaped not only his relationships, but the very language of his art. Every stroke, every hue, every composition became a meditation on presence, feeling, and attentive awareness. Imagine the yellow house in calm evening light, the streets quiet, the fields resting under a soft golden glow. The turbulence of day has passed, and stillness has settled into every corner. Allow your mind to follow this tranquility, your breath syncing with the rhythm of the fading light, your body softening, releasing, and resting. In these months, Vincent's vision became more confident, more expressive, and more attuned to the beauty and fragility of life. The arrival of Gauguin, with all its sparks and conflicts, revealed both the challenges of collaboration and the potential for insight, growth, and creative transformation. Through struggle, observation, and persistent practice, Vincent's art began to reflect not only what he saw, but also what he felt. A world alive with color, emotion, and quiet, resonant energy. As the light in Arles shifts from day to night, feel yourself settling alongside this story. Let the warmth of the sun, the energy of creative endeavor, and the lessons of human interaction sink gently into your awareness. Allow relaxation to deepen, muscles to soften, and your mind to rest in the steady rhythm of observation, breath, and quiet reflection. The arrival of a friend, with all its complexity, had illuminated Vincent's sensitivity, ambition, and potential. Even in moments of pain, misunderstanding, or emotional strain, the rhythm of life continued, gentle, persistent, and alive. His brushes moved across canvas, translating turmoil into beauty, intensity into harmony, and struggle into observation. Let the quiet of evening, the gentle presence of observation, and the slow, deliberate rhythm of breath carry you into rest. The energy of creation, the lessons of interaction, and the calm of attentive awareness coexist in balance, guiding both Vincent and those who walk beside him in thought and imagination. After the turbulence of awe, Vincent sought rest and care in the quiet halls of the asylum at St. Remy. The walls, built of cool stone, held a serene stillness that contrasted with the intensity of his previous months. Gardens filled with lavender, rosemary and thyme offered soft scents carried on gentle breezes. Olive trees twisted in ancient patterns, their branches bending in quiet rhythm with the wind. The environment itself seemed to invite observation, reflection, and a slower, more deliberate pace of life. Imagine yourself walking through these gardens, inhaling the fragrant air, feeling the texture of stone beneath your fingertips, noticing the subtle movement of leaves in the wind. Let each gentle observation guide your breath. Inhale with attention, exhale with release, and feel your body soften, becoming present with the calm of this peaceful place. Vincent's days were structured around observation, contemplation, and the rhythm of work. The asylum's staff provided care, yet allowed him the space to explore, to wander, and to engage deeply with his surroundings. The repetition of routine, meals, walks, and periods of painting became a framework of stability, a gentle anchor for both mind and body. This structure offered him a canvas for recovery, a way to translate internal turbulence into deliberate, focused creation. In the courtyard, Vincent would watch the play of sunlight across stone walls and gardens. Shadows shifted gently with the day, bending and lengthening, while the breeze carried hints of color and fragrance from distant fields. He began to notice subtler textures in the world around him, the roughness of bark, the smooth curve of olive leaves, the faint shimmer of dew on grass. Each observation was absorbed with quiet attention, a practice of presence that carried both therapeutic and artistic power. Picture the soft shimmer of morning sunlight spilling across a stone path. Notice how it illuminates the contours of leaves, the folds of flowers, and the gentle sway of branches. Allow this imagery to settle into your awareness, softening your shoulders, relaxing your chest, and inviting calm into every limb. Like Vincent, you can breathe in color, texture, and movement without effort, letting observation itself become restorative. Within the asylum, Vincent's art transformed. His earlier intensity, while still present, became channeled into rhythmic exploration of form, color, and motion. The landscapes around St. Remy, the rolling fields, olive groves, and distant mountains, became subjects of meditation. He painted with heightened sensitivity, each stroke informed by both the outer world and his inner state. Even the sky became a canvas for emotion, its patterns reflecting the tremor and sweep of thought, feeling, and imagination. Consider a sky at twilight, clouds moving softly, stars beginning to shimmer, the horizon glowing with gentle hues. Let your awareness flow with this scene, breathing in its calm and releasing any tension with every exhale. Notice the subtle vibrations of color, light, and shadow, and feel them echo softly in your own body and mind. One of the most remarkable aspects of this period was Vincent's ability to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. Olive trees, cypress groves, and wheat fields were not merely landscapes. They became living presences, embodying movement, emotion, and the quiet energy of life itself. Even in the controlled, secure environment of the asylum, the world outside his window pulsed with inspiration, and Vincent absorbed it fully, letting it inform his brush, palette, and vision. Imagine standing before a field of wheat, noticing the individual stalks swaying with the breeze. The rhythm of movement mirrors the rhythm of your own breath, and the subtle color variations provide a gentle meditation on observation and awareness. Allow yourself to inhabit this scene, noticing without judgment, feeling without urgency, and resting in the quiet attention that transforms perception into presence. Vincent's brushes moved tirelessly, translating his observations into swirling, vibrant patterns. The sky, in particular, became a site of experimentation and wonder. Clouds twisted and curved, stars seemed to pulse with inner light, and night itself became alive with emotion. The act of painting was both a release and a focus, a bridge between inner experience and external expression. You might imagine the gentle rotation of stars in the night sky, the swirl of clouds illuminated by moonlight, and the subtle hum of a world alive with quiet motion. Let your breath align with this rhythm, each inhale absorbing the beauty and each exhale releasing tension. Allow the scene to expand in your awareness, filling the mind with calm observation and gentle presence. Even amidst periods of inner struggle, Vincent found solace in these exercises of observation and expression. The discipline of capturing the world with honesty, sensitivity, and imagination became a form of meditation. It allowed him to process experience, regulate emotion, and restore a sense of order and meaning in daily life. His work from this period demonstrates not only technical mastery, but also a profound understanding of rhythm, pattern, and emotional resonance. Consider your own daily practice of noticing. Even a few moments of gentle observation, the sway of a tree, the shimmer of light, the movement of clouds, can provide grounding, clarity, and calm. Let each moment of perception settle into body and mind, a quiet rhythm mirroring the natural flow of life and breath. During his time at St. Remy, Vincent also explored the depth of personal expression. His paintings became less about literal depiction and more about conveying sensation, emotion, and movement. Swirls of sky, the curvature of cypress trees, and the texture of earth were all infused with a sense of vitality and presence. Through the act of painting, he engaged in a dialogue with himself, the landscape, and the viewer, creating a shared space of attention and reflection. Imagine placing a brush on canvas, allowing it to follow the gentle impulse of observation rather than constraint. Notice the freedom inherent in flowing movement, the way each stroke can echo emotion, perception, and rhythm. Let your imagination wander freely in this manner, your mind relaxed, your awareness vivid, and your body calm. The asylum's gardens, with their stone paths and aromatic plants, provided both sanctuary and inspiration. Vincent would often walk slowly, absorbing subtle changes in color, texture, and light. Each observation was internalized, transformed into mental imagery, and later translated into pigment. This practice of careful attention allowed him to stabilize his inner life, cultivating both creative insight and emotional resilience. Visualize a path lined with lavender and thyme, sunlight filtering through leaves, shadows soft upon the ground. Breathe in the aroma, notice the colors, and feel the rhythm of the walk mirror the rhythm of your own body. Let attention, presence, and calm settle together, carrying you into the same quiet, restorative awareness that Vincent cultivated. Even the smallest objects could inspire him. A chair in the corner, a simple table, or a small window became subjects of study. Through careful observation, these ordinary items revealed texture, form, and quiet movement. In this attentiveness, Vincent discovered that every element of life, no matter how humble, could be a source of meditation and creativity. Imagine a simple object before you, noticing its shape, color, and surface. Observe it slowly in detail and let your attention bring calm. In the same way Vincent noticed subtle motion and light, you can allow focus and reflection to create inner stillness, clarity, and presence. The culmination of this period was the creation of some of Vincent's most iconic works, including the swirling skies of Starry Night. The painting captures not only visual phenomena, but also a profound sense of emotional and spiritual rhythm. Stars pulse with life. The night sky twists with gentle movement, and the village below rests in quiet reflection. This work embodies the balance of intensity and calm, observation and expression, movement and stillness, lessons that Vincent learned through both hardship and meditation. Imagine a sky alive with stars, their light soft yet vibrant, clouds moving gently across a vast expanse, the earth resting below. Allow your breath to align with the rhythm of the painting, each inhale expanding awareness, each exhale softening tension. Feel the gentle motion of the universe mirrored within your own body, mind, and heart. Through months of patient observation, deliberate practice, and gentle immersion in his surroundings, Vincent transformed the environment of Saint Remy into both a laboratory and sanctuary. Every walk, every glance, every brushstroke was an opportunity for reflection, growth, and calm. The interplay of light, color, and motion became a tool not just for art, but for sustaining presence, focus, and emotional equilibrium. Consider your own surroundings as a canvas for awareness. Notice textures, colors, movement, and rhythm. Allow them to guide your attention, support relaxation, and cultivate a sense of calm presence. Like Vincent, you can translate observation into quiet reflection, creating inner harmony through sustained, gentle focus. By the time he left the asylum, Vincent had deepened both his technical skill and his understanding of the relationship between perception, emotion, and creation. The landscapes, skies, and gardens of Saint Remy had become teachers, guiding him toward a more expansive vision of the world and his place within it. The lessons of observation, attentiveness, and meditative practice continued to echo in his work, influencing everything that followed. As evening falls over Saint Remy, let the lavender-scented breeze, the twisting olive trees, and the gently swaying fields settle into your awareness. Feel your body soften, your breath deepen, and your mind rest in the quiet rhythms of observation, creativity, and reflection. The sky, alive with movement and color, mirrors the calm and attentive presence you cultivate within yourself. Vincent's time in Saint Remy teaches that even amid struggle, recovery, and reflection, life can pulse with gentle motion, emotional resonance, and creative energy. Through observation, patience, and the quiet act of making, we find balance, restoration, and a sense of connection to the world around us, and to our own inner landscape. After leaving Saint Remy, Vincent journeyed north to Auvers-sur-Oise, a village cradled between soft hills and winding rivers, where the air carried both the scent of tilled earth and the quiet rhythm of rural life. The countryside stretched endlessly in gentle undulations, the fields shimmering in gold and green, the distant trees bending softly with the breeze. Here, Vincent sought both care and inspiration, a place where his creativity could flow freely while he attended to his fragile health and delicate state of mind. Imagine walking beside him along the dirt paths of Auvers, feeling the gentle crunch of soil underfoot, the warmth of the sun on your skin, and the subtle movement of leaves above. Let your breath match the pace of your steps, slow and steady, expanding awareness with each inhale, releasing tension with each exhale. In these moments, presence itself becomes a source of calm, a gentle meditation echoing the rhythm of the landscape. Under the watchful guidance of Dr. Conin, of Dr. Sprent, Paul Gachet, Vincent's days were structured yet flexible, a balance that allowed for both reflection and immersion in art. The doctor's care offered support, stability, and the occasional reassurance, but the village itself, its quiet streets, rolling fields, and humble homes, provided the real canvas for his work. Every walk, every observation, became an opportunity to translate the subtleties of life into paint, color, and motion. Picture a soft, golden field stretching beneath a sky brushed with pale clouds. Notice the gentle sway of wheat, the sparkle of morning dew, and the distant hum of village life. Allow your awareness to absorb these details slowly, letting your body soften, your shoulders release, and your chest expand with calm attention. Each inhalation draws in serenity, each exhalation lets go of tension. Vincent's brushwork during this period was extraordinary in both intensity and clarity. He painted tirelessly, capturing the subtle play of light and shadow, the tremble of leaves, the bending of branches, and the shifting hues of the sky. Fields seemed to ripple beneath his gaze, cottages glowed with a quiet, inviting warmth, and even the simplest objects, a basket, a chair, a pathway, became alive with energy and emotion. Imagine observing a simple cottage in the late afternoon light. Notice how the walls catch the sun, how the shadows stretch, how the colors shift with subtle gradations. Let this gentle observation ripple through your body, creating relaxation, awareness, and a quiet sense of harmony. The act of noticing without rush mirrors Vincent's own attentive practice in translating the world onto canvas. Portraits became another focus of his final months. Vincent painted neighbors, villagers, and figures from daily life with compassion and sensitivity, seeking not just to capture appearance but to reveal character, feeling, and depth. Each face told a story, lines of experience, gestures of quiet endurance, eyes that hinted at both vulnerability and strength. Through these portraits, Vincent transformed empathy into visual expression, creating an intimate dialogue between artist, subject, and viewer. Imagine sitting quietly in a room, observing the subtle expression of someone's face, the soft curl of a smile, the gentle tension of a shoulder. Allow your awareness to be present without intrusion, absorbing the details with calm curiosity. Notice the subtle textures, the way light plays on contours, and let your own breath mirror the rhythm of gentle attention. Fields of wheat continued to captivate him. In their movement he saw life itself, the rhythm of wind, the resilience of growth, and the quiet pulse of natural order. He painted these landscapes repeatedly, exploring variations of color, motion, and emotion. Each brushstroke became a meditation, a conversation with the land, a practice of presence that brought both artistic insight and restorative calm. Visualize a golden field, the stalks bending with the wind, the sun dappling through clouds, each motion gentle and rhythmic. Let this imagery align with your own breath, inhaling slowly, exhaling fully, feeling a wave of relaxation sweep through your body. Notice the subtle vibrations of light and color as they echo in your awareness, grounding you in calm, attentive presence. Despite his increasing productivity, Vincent remained acutely aware of his own fragility. Every day carried the duality of creation and contemplation, energy and rest, presence and reflection. The rhythm of life in Auvergne, the quiet village streets, the soft movement of nature, the attentiveness of care from Dr. Tan. Gachet provided a framework that allowed him to immerse fully in art while attending to the delicate balance of mind and body. Imagine moving through a village bathed in soft morning light, noticing small details, a door slightly ajar, a basket left on a doorstep, birds settling among the rooftops. Let these observations expand gently in your awareness, softening mental tension, releasing the need to hurry, and inviting a steady sense of calm curiosity. Vincent's final landscapes were infused with an extraordinary vitality. The skies swirled, the earth rippled, and each element seemed to vibrate with life. The energy of wind across wheat, the sway of distant trees, and the interplay of light on rooftops created a rhythm that was both dynamic and serene. These paintings reflect a profound understanding of natural motion, emotional resonance, and the delicate balance between observation and expression. Picture a tree bending in the wind, each leaf moving subtly, the branches alive with gentle motion. Feel this rhythm mirrored in your own body, each breath flowing with the pulse of nature, tension melting with each exhale, awareness expanding with each inhale. Like Vincent, you can inhabit a world of observation, reflection, and calm presence. In Auvergne, the sense of impermanence was palpable. The seasons shifted with quiet inevitability, the skies above mirrored the moods of the land, and human life continued in its tender, fragile rhythm. Vincent absorbed these truths, translating both beauty and melancholy into his art. Each painting became an acknowledgement of fleeting time, the delicate balance of existence, and the tender pulse of being alive. Imagine the soft fade of evening light across a village, the shadows lengthening, the air cooling, and the distant sound of wind through fields. Let your awareness move gently with this scene, noticing subtle shifts in color, motion, and sensation. Allow your body to soften, your mind to rest, and your breath to find a slow, steady rhythm. Portraits of Dr. Gachet, the villagers, and the surrounding landscape reveal the depth of Vincent's attention. Even in the smallest gestures, a tilt of the head, a fold of a sleeve, the shimmer of sunlight on a roof, he found meaning, emotion, and resonance. These observations, rendered with care and empathy, invite viewers into a shared experience of noticing, feeling, and reflecting on the subtle beauty of life. Visualize a quiet street corner, observing the subtle interplay of shadow and light, the gentle rhythm of leaves swaying overhead, and the soft textures of building walls. Let this scene inspire gentle awareness in your own body and mind, each inhalation deepening presence, each exhalation releasing tension, creating a steady, meditative calm. Even in the face of personal struggle, Vincent's final months were marked by extraordinary productivity and insight. He painted with a focused intensity that reflected both urgency and serenity. The balance of effort and observation, action and reflection, imbued his works with a vitality that continues to resonate centuries later. Each canvas became a meditation, a dialogue with the natural world, and a testament to the transformative power of focused presence. Imagine the act of creation itself. Brush on canvas, colors blending, lines moving fluidly, the rhythm of observation guiding every stroke. Let this imagined practice settle into your awareness, allowing each breath to mirror the calm, steady pulse of creative energy. Notice how tension dissolves, focus sharpens, and awareness expands in gentle, restorative waves. Vincent's time in Auvergne, though brief, exemplifies the delicate interplay between life, observation, and art. Each day offered opportunities to notice subtle beauty, to engage with motion and light, and to translate experience into form. The landscapes, portraits, and small studies created during these months capture both the intensity of life and the gentle rhythm of attentive presence. Picture the sun dipping behind distant hills, painting the sky with soft hues, shadows lengthening across fields and streets. Allow this gentle transition to guide your own awareness, softening muscles, settling breath, and inviting calm reflection. Notice the rhythm of day into night, the quiet pulse of movement, and the steady heartbeat of being present in the moment. As Vincent worked tirelessly, he seemed to sense the fragility of time. Each painting became an act of devotion, an attempt to capture motion, emotion, and the ephemeral beauty of the world. Even in quiet contemplation, he observed the subtle dynamics of wind, sky, and human life, translating these experiences into visual form. In doing so, he cultivated a practice of mindfulness, observation, and expression that continues to inspire calm and attentiveness in those who encounter his work. Imagine a field at dusk, the colors softening, the wind slowing, the first stars beginning to shimmer above. Let your own awareness settle with this scene, each inhalation expanding gentle presence, each exhalation releasing worry or tension. Feel the resonance of observation, reflection, and mindful engagement spread through your body and mind. In these final months, Vincent's work embodied the profound balance of presence, creativity, and awareness. Each painting captured the quiet motion of life, the subtle rhythms of nature, and the tender pulse of human emotion. The landscapes, portraits, and skies of Auvers are a testament to the harmony that can be found through attentive observation, focused creation, and gentle reflection. As you settle into the quiet of this story, imagine yourself walking with Vincent through fields, village streets, and sunlit orchards. Let your mind and body absorb the rhythm of movement, the play of light and shadow, and the soft vibrancy of color. Breathe slowly, fully, and gently, allowing calm, presence, and clarity to settle into every corner of your awareness. Vincent's last season in Auvers is a meditation on observation, intensity, and mindful engagement. Through attentive practice, gentle reflection, and the deliberate act of creation, he captured not only what he saw, but what he felt, translating the motion, emotion, and subtle beauty of the world into enduring expressions of presence, energy, and calm. The final months of Vincent's life carried a quiet intensity, a tension between the urgency of creation and the fragility of the body and mind. Auvers, or Oise, with its gentle hills, winding streets, and soft, ever-changing light, became both a sanctuary and a mirror. Every field, tree, and sky seemed to pulse with life, yet also hinted at impermanence, the subtle reminders of time slipping like wind through the wheat. Imagine walking beside him on one of those soft, golden afternoons. Feel the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the slight sway of grass beneath your feet, and the gentle hum of village life around you. Let each inhalation expand your awareness, each exhalation release tension, allowing your body to sink deeper into stillness. You are present with the quiet pulse of nature, a reflection of the rhythm that Vincent found so compelling. In these months, his work reached extraordinary heights. The landscapes of Auvers shimmered with motion, wheat fields bent in invisible breezes, skies danced with cloud and light, and the smallest details of village life, rooftops, fences, pathways, carried a sense of intimacy and vibrancy. His portraits captured subtle expressions, the quiet resilience of human character, and the fleeting emotions that often go unnoticed. Every stroke of his brush was both an observation and an offering, a conversation with the world and a meditation on life itself. Imagine observing a single field, noticing the variations of gold and green, the play of sunlight across each stalk, the faint whispering movement in the breeze. Let this gentle imagery settle into your awareness. Feel your muscles soften, your breath deepen, and a wave of calm pulse through your body. The world, in its quiet rhythm, mirrors the rhythm of your own attention and presence. Even in the midst of relentless productivity, Vincent remained deeply aware of his own limitations and vulnerability. He walked carefully, rested when he could, and observed both the world and himself with unflinching attention. Each day was an exercise in balancing effort with reflection, action with stillness, motion with observation. Through this he cultivated a quiet, contemplative rhythm that informed both his work and his experience of life. Consider your own movements, your own daily rhythm, as a balance of effort and ease. Notice how gentle attention to each step, each breath, each moment can transform ordinary experience into something restorative. Allow the body to relax, the mind to settle, and awareness to flow effortlessly from one sensation to the next. The wheat fields around Auvers became a central focus, their motion, texture, and color offering both inspiration and meditation. Vincent captured the bending stalks, shimmering light, and endless horizons with a sensitivity that was almost reverential. Each painting was a study in motion, emotion, and the subtleties of natural rhythm, reflecting a mind attuned to both detail and the larger patterns of life. Visualize a wide field of golden wheat, each stalk moving subtly in the breeze, sunlight glinting on its tips. Feel your own awareness settle into the flow of motion, your breath aligning with the rhythm of the landscape. Let tension release, curiosity expand, and calm deepen with each inhalation and exhalation. Portraiture remained equally important in his final months. Faces became more than appearances. They were repositories of history, emotion, and quiet endurance. Vincent's keen sensitivity allowed him to notice imperceptible expressions, fleeting gestures, and subtle shifts in light across skin and cloth. These details, so easily overlooked, became windows into the soul, both for the artist and for those who would later encounter his work. Imagine observing someone quietly, noting the soft tilt of a head, the gentle curve of a smile, the faint shadow of a thought passing across a face. Let your own awareness hold these details gently, with curiosity and calm. Each observation, like Vincent's, becomes an act of reflection, grounding, and restorative presence. Even as his health declined, his productivity never wavered. The intensity of his vision seemed to push outward, manifesting in a surge of creation that is almost unparalleled. Canvases filled with fields, skies, and figures emerged day by day, a testament to the power of persistence, observation, and attentive practice. He painted with the urgency of someone aware of light's fleeting nature, yet with the careful consideration of a mind attuned to every nuance. Consider your own awareness of time, your own subtle sense of impermanence, not as a source of anxiety, but as a gentle reminder to notice, observe, and savor each present moment. Let your breath carry both calm and clarity, allowing the mind to settle into quiet reflection. In his final weeks, Vincent often revisited familiar landscapes, observing them with heightened attentiveness. Wheat fields shimmered with new light, skies rippled with unseen currents, and trees twisted with both grace and energy. He captured these scenes with a delicate combination of precision and fluidity, creating works that are simultaneously grounded and ethereal, intimate and expansive. Visualize a tree bending in a gentle wind, its leaves shifting with subtle rhythm, sunlight dappling through branches, the earth soft beneath. Let this scene expand within your awareness, guiding breath and body toward relaxation, focus, and a quiet meditative calm. The presence of Dr. Gachet offered support, understanding, and a quiet reassurance. Their interactions, though brief at times, provided Vincent with grounding, observation, and a sense of continuity. The doctor's attentiveness allowed Vincent to focus on his work while maintaining a fragile balance of health and reflection, a framework that supported both creation and introspection. Imagine a gentle presence beside you, someone calm and attentive, a reminder that care, attention, and quiet support exist in the world. Allow this sense of presence to settle in your body, softening tension, calming thought, and encouraging reflection and ease. Even as he navigated vulnerability, Vincent remained attuned to the world around him. The fields, trees, skies, and village life offered constant inspiration, a source of rhythm, color, and gentle motion. Each walk, each observation, each painting became a meditation, a practice of mindfulness and presence that carried both aesthetic and restorative power. Visualize yourself walking slowly along a sunlit path, noticing light on leaves, movement in the grass, and subtle changes in air and scent. Let each inhalation deepen awareness, each exhalation release fatigue. Allow the mind to settle, the body to soften, and attention to expand gently with the rhythm of the world around you. Vincent's final season is marked by an astonishing intensity of creation. Every brush stroke, every landscape, every portrait resonates with both urgency and calm, vitality and serenity. He captured not only the external world, but the internal pulse of emotion, observation, and reflection. Each painting embodies the rhythm of his awareness, the depth of his sensitivity, and the quiet power of persistent, attentive practice. Imagine a field at dusk, sunlight softening, the wind stilling, and shadows stretching across gently rolling hills. Feel your breath align with this rhythm, your body releasing tension, your mind resting in observation. Notice the subtle energy of motion and stillness coexisting, a reflection of Vincent's own practice and a mirror for your own inner calm. The final days were tender, fragile, and filled with both reflection and quiet creation. Vincent continued to paint, to observe, and to engage with the world in subtle, deliberate ways. Each act of observation, each brushstroke, each moment of presence carried meaning, both for him and for those who would later experience his work. Visualize the sun lowering in the sky, the village growing quiet, the fields resting under soft light. Let yourself rest in this scene, feeling the pulse of life slow and settle. Notice the way awareness and breath can carry both calm and presence, the way observation itself becomes restorative. Vincent's passing at 37 left the world without one of its most sensitive and luminous artists. Yet his legacy endures in every canvas, every swirl of sky, every golden field and tender portrait. The wheat fields fall silent, yet the colors remain, vibrant, alive, and pulsing with the life he poured into them. His work continues to invite reflection, presence, and calm observation, a testament to the quiet power of attentive, heartfelt creation. Imagine standing in a golden field, the sky glowing softly overhead, the wind whispering through tall stalks. Let your breath sink with this rhythm, each inhalation drawing in calm, each exhalation releasing tension. Feel yourself resting in observation, reflection, and presence, the echo of Vincent's life and work flowing gently through your awareness. In the quiet aftermath, the lessons of Vincent's final season continue to resonate. Presence, attentive observation, compassionate engagement, and mindful creativity emerge from struggle, intensity, and reflection. Through every canvas, he teaches that even in fleeting moments, beauty, rhythm, and calm can coexist, offering both insight and serenity to those who pause to notice. Picture the sun setting over Orbers, the sky awash in gold, pink, and violet hues. Let your mind follow this transition slowly, allowing tension to release, muscles to relax, and awareness to expand. Each breath mirrors the gentle flow of light and color, the subtle pulse of life, and the quiet presence that Vincent captured in his final works. Through the intensity of his final season, Vincent shows us that even in brevity, life can be filled with focus, sensitivity, and beauty. Each observation, each painting, each moment of attention becomes an opportunity for restoration, reflection, and gentle presence. Allow this awareness to settle within you now, softening thought, body, and heart in the calm resonance of his enduring vision. Even after Vincent van Gogh's life came to a close, the resonance of his vision continues to ripple through time. The wheat fields, the swaying cypresses, the skies alive with stars, they endure as more than images on canvas. They are invitations to pause, to observe, and to inhabit a world suffused with subtle motion, color, and emotion. These works are reminders that beauty exists not only in grand gestures, but also in the quiet rhythms of daily life, the gentle sway of nature, and the attentive observation of the ordinary. Imagine yourself standing in a field at dawn, light spilling across the landscape, shadows soft and lengthening. Notice the delicate sway of leaves, the hum of the earth beneath, and the gentle pulse of wind through grass. Let your breath follow this rhythm, each inhale drawing in awareness, each exhale releasing tension. Feel the body soften, the mind settle, and the heart open to the quiet vibrancy of life, just as Vincent captured in every brushstroke. Vincent's legacy is not confined to the world of art alone. It is a testament to the power of persistence, empathy, and mindfulness. His life reminds us that even in moments of struggle, fragility, or uncertainty, there is the potential for profound engagement with the world. Every observation, every moment of focused attention, every gentle act of creation can become a source of insight, restoration, and quiet joy. Consider your own life as a canvas. Each moment of presence, each careful observation, each act of mindful attention adds depth and color to the world within and around you. Like Vincent, you can notice the subtle hues in a sunset, the texture of a leaf, the gentle sway of a branch, letting these experiences guide both awareness and calm. The vibrancy in his paintings, the swirling night skies, the golden fields, the tenderly rendered portraits serves as a reminder that life itself is full of nuance. Each color, each stroke, each composition reflects a world alive with detail, pattern, and motion. When we slow down to observe, when we allow ourselves to be present, we encounter a rhythm that soothes both mind and body, a cadence that mirrors the natural pulse of existence. Picture the night sky, stars shimmering with subtle light, clouds twisting softly above a sleeping village. Allow this imagery to settle into your awareness. Feel the gentle expansion of breath with each inhalation, the soft release of tension with each exhalation. Let your mind mirror the movement of the sky, flowing, expansive, and calm. Even in moments of profound isolation or difficulty, Vincent's work demonstrates the transformative power of attentive presence. His sensitivity to light, motion, and emotion shows that the smallest details, a flicker of shadow, a subtle bend in a tree, the quiet expression of a face, can carry immense meaning. By observing with patience, by engaging with life fully, even in its simplest forms, we cultivate a similar capacity for awareness, empathy, and calm. Imagine a quiet village street at dusk. Notice the subtle shadows stretching across cobblestones, the muted glow of lanterns, the whisper of wind through rooftops and branches. Allow yourself to absorb these details slowly, letting each observation anchor your attention, settle your body, and ease your mind into a gentle rhythm of reflection. Vincent's life also teaches that creative expression, however humble or monumental, is a path toward understanding, presence, and connection. The act of painting became for him a form of meditation, a means to translate observation, emotion, and reflection into something tangible. Each brushstroke was both an exploration of the world and a reflection of his inner state, demonstrating the quiet power of sustained, mindful attention. Consider your own daily routines as opportunities for this kind of reflection. Washing dishes, walking through a garden, preparing a meal, or simply observing the sky. These moments become miniature canvases for attention and awareness. Notice the texture, the movement, the interplay of light and shadow, and let these observations cultivate calm, presence, and subtle joy. The richness of Vincent's perception reminds us that intensity need not be frantic. There is a difference between rushing through experience and deeply inhabiting it. By slowing down, by engaging with the subtle rhythms of the world, we find a clarity and depth that can transform ordinary moments into sources of insight, restoration, and even quiet wonder. Picture yourself leaning gently against a fence, watching a field of golden wheat ripple in a soft breeze. Observe how sunlight sparkles along each stalk, how shadows bend and stretch, how the motion itself carries a quiet vitality. Allow your breath to mirror this rhythm, each inhale filling awareness, each exhale softening tension. Feel a sense of gentle expansion, a connection to both your inner landscape and the world around you. Vincent's ability to convey emotion, motion, and subtle beauty in his work is a reminder that sensitivity is not weakness. It is a form of profound engagement with life, a way to notice the textures, patterns, and pulses that others might overlook. In cultivating our own awareness, in attending carefully to the subtleties of experience, we honor both our inner world and the living, breathing world around us. Imagine a small corner of a garden, flowers trembling in a soft breeze, the sunlight shifting as clouds pass overhead. Allow your awareness to rest here, noticing every subtle hue, movement, and detail. Let this observation be restorative, grounding, and calming. Feel your body soften, your mind settle, and your heart expand gently, in sync with the rhythm of life unfolding around you. Vincent's life, though brief, was a meditation on persistence, sensitivity, and the transformative power of engagement. He reminds us that even fleeting moments, when observed with care and reflected upon with presence, can be rich with meaning. Every detail of the world, every interaction, every subtle motion or nuance carries the potential for insight, empathy, and calm. Visualize the horizon at twilight, soft layers of color stretching endlessly, the air still, the earth at rest. Breathe in this tranquility. Let it permeate every part of your being, and release any tension or distraction with each exhale. Allow the mind to mirror the gentle fading of light, expanding awareness while softening thought, creating space for reflection and serenity. The enduring power of Vincent's work lies not only in its beauty, but in its invitation. Each canvas, each color, each swirling sky calls the viewer to pause, to notice, and to inhabit the world in a state of attentive presence. His paintings are reminders that life, even in its chaos and intensity, contains patterns, rhythms, and moments of profound calm if we allow ourselves to observe them fully. Imagine walking slowly through a gallery of his works, each painting a field, a sky, a portrait, a rhythm of life captured in color and form. Let your eyes trace the lines, absorb the movement, and sense the intention behind every brushstroke. Feel the quiet energy of observation settle within you, guiding both body and mind into relaxation and reflection. Vincent's legacy whispers of courage, the courage to see deeply, to feel intensely, and to share that inner world with others, even when the act itself is vulnerable. His paintings are an ongoing conversation, a gentle guidance toward mindful attention, empathetic observation, and the recognition of beauty in all its fleeting, trembling forms. Picture a solitary olive tree twisting gracefully under the sun, its branches casting soft shadows across the earth. Imagine the wind passing through it, leaves moving softly, light shifting subtly with each moment. Let this image guide your breath, body, and awareness, creating a rhythm of presence and calm that mirrors the tender sensitivity Vincent poured into his art. Even in the quiet corners of our own lives, we can practice the lessons he modeled. Observation, attentiveness, reflection, and the gentle act of creating, whether with paint, words, or simple awareness, provide a pathway to serenity. Each moment becomes an opportunity to inhabit life fully, to notice its subtleties, and to cultivate a sense of presence and calm. Visualize the stars emerging in a night sky, each one softly pulsing with light, the horizon dark but alive with subtle motion. Allow your breath to synchronize with this rhythm, the body soft, the mind still, the awareness expansive. Let each inhalation carry calm, each exhalation release tension, and feel a quiet connection to the same pulse of observation and reflection that Vincent experienced in his lifetime. Through the enduring vibrancy of his fields, skies, and portraits, Vincent van Gogh continues to teach us that life, in all its intensity and fragility, contains infinite moments for reflection, attention, and gentle observation. His art invites us to slow down, to notice, to breathe, and to inhabit both the world around us and our inner landscape with care, presence, and compassion. As we leave the final glow of his colors behind, imagine walking through a soft golden landscape, the light fading slowly, the air filled with a quiet hum of presence. Feel the rhythm of your breath, the gentle pulse of your body, and the awareness of every subtle motion. Let the calm of observation, reflection, and attentive presence settle fully within you, carrying the resonance of Vincent's life and work into your own. Vincent's story closes, yet his colours, his skies, his fields, and his tender human portraits remain, an enduring whisper of creativity, empathy, and mindful presence. In this quiet, lingering resonance, may you find the same calm, reflection, and gentle inspiration that he discovered in his fleeting, luminous journeys through the world.